Hello, my name's Erin Humiston, and I'm a 2D animator, and I got the privilege of animating Max for the DAWGTOWN teaser. So here's a quick look at where the magic actually happened. This is my little studio. There's the Max model sheets, as well as my Cintiq, which I did all of the animation on. I'll be more than happy to show you a little bit of my process. So let's go check it out. I did all of the animation in a software called TV Paint, and what was great was that was what Justin Murphy worked on as well. And so he was kind enough to set up all the files for me. As you can see in this scene, Justin Murphy did this great animation of the human character here, and he set up the background, he set up the file for me, he set up the camera motion. So he set everything up for me, and all I had to worry about was the animation, which is always a great thing to have. Here we have the camera motion, and then we come to my drawings. Now, obviously, I've finished this scene already. I use a pose-to-pose style of animation. It's especially important on this piece because Justin is very particular about how he wants the characters to look. He has a very distinct style with his project, and he really wanted to make sure the characters maintained that look, which is why he provided me with very in-depth model sheets. And so pose to pose, it helps me keep the character on model. I work out the basic poses of the characters acting first. Once we're happy with all those basic poses, then I will go back and draw all the drawings in between those base poses. So let's take a look. Here you can see this pose has the word key written by it. That means that's a keyframe. So this was one of the first drawings I did to work out Max's motion. As I've said, I've already finished this scene. As you can see, I've drawn a lot of the in-betweens here. So with pose to pose, I would draw all these keyframes. So here's one key, and then I would draw this key next. Once these keys were approved, I had to later on then draw all the drawings in between, which would be all of these. So let me just show you how that worked. So here's what's called a breakdown. A breakdown is also a keyframe, but it's sort of an in-between keyframe to help work out more complex motions. What we're gonna do, we have this drawing, and we have this drawing. As you can see on the side, I have this, what's called a timing sheet. And what this does is this tells me, as the animator, or if I was handing this off to another animator, this would tell whoever's working on this scene how I want the drawings to be placed. So here we're currently on frame 31, and my other key that we're referencing, which would be over here, is frame 38. So we need to draw all the drawings between frame 31 and 38, but I need them placed in a certain way. This is where the timing sheet helps. So 32, as you can see, it's like right in between on the chart. It's right in between 31 and 38. So that means when I draw the drawing between 31 and 38, I have to make sure the lines are right in between those two drawings. I know it's a little confusing, but I'll show you what I mean. So let's move to frame 32. It's a blank drawing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our light table. Now what you can see, it's very faint, but you can see my two keyframes that I need to reference. It's 31 and frame 38. 31 is in green and 38 is in purple. So since the frame I'm doing right now just needs to be placed right in between those two, I can take my pencil and make sure all the lines I draw for this in-between just rest right in between. See how this red line that I drew is right between the green and the purple lines? That means it's just a direct in-between. And I need to make sure I do that for all of the lines that fall between those two drawings. It gets confusing, but that's why animation takes a little practice. Make sure that eyebrow is right in between those two other eyebrows. Get the nose right between. So imagine, just for this little bit of animation, just to get the head turn to work right, I have to do, so we're on 31, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to do 4 of these in-betweens to get this head turn right. So that's 4 drawings. It takes a while to get these drawings done, so you can see, just from this example, why it's so time consuming, and sometimes it gets kind of expensive to do this process. But in the end, it's really rewarding. You get a nice, cool, hand-drawn looking final product that moves, hopefully very nicely. This is why 2D animation typically has a lot of people working on it, because if it was just me and Justin, it would take forever. Alright, so let me turn my light table off. So there we have an in-between. There's the first drawing, there's my in-between, and there's the last drawing. First drawing, in-between, last drawing. And now you can start to see a little bit of motion happening. But we need a lot more drawings than just that, just to get his head to that drawing. But that's the process. You need to be very patient, and you really need to have a love for animation. But in the end, for me, it's really rewarding. I love seeing the characters move, and I'm glad that you guys like to see it too. I hope you enjoyed this. That's pretty much my job for DAWGTOWN. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.